Welcome to the real healthy you.
The real.
That's you, by the way.
And me and you.
Together. Together. We together.
Oh my gosh, I feel like when I was a little kid, how on TV the person would be talking, I'm talking to you. Like
That's
the preschool shows.
Oh, that lady with
she was like, I
the
see
mirror.
Lisa and Debbie and
Oh,
Julie.
shut up.
And they'd be looking at you and you'd be in there like, she's calling my name.
She would have the mirror in front of her, and I said, why
So I think
me?
so guys, we're on YouTube now, so you can see us looking at you. So hi Debbie, hi Bob, hi Joe.
Hey.
You know, you'll have to in the comments put your name, so then we can call your name out for the next one.
That's right.
We don't know. But anyway, so hi, we were way off point. It's all good. So welcome. We are talking about a whole lot of good stuff today. Actually, it's kind of an interesting topic today because it's not one that we talked about before.
And you don't really hear much about it, actually.
No,
you don't really. First of all, I want to say who I am.
Oh, go ahead, say who you are.
I just want to.
Okay.
So I'm Barbie, the real one.
I'm Jamie. She
That's
really
Jamie.
wants you to know that. So those of you who don't know that, maybe this is your first time. If you couldn't, you're going to get this each time. So don't worry. You'll have another opportunity.
but she's still plastic. I don't understand that, a woman.
Oh, the Barbie doll? What do you want? She's a doll.
I know.
All right. Anyway,
so
why are we talking about
that's right.
So the
Let's
topic
go.
we're talking about today is called oxalates. So why are we talking about oxalates, Mom? Tell us why what moved you into that subject?
I thought I was experiencing something, and I says, "No, what is this happening to me?" I was getting hives, not big ones, but some on my arms, and I'm saying, that's not like me. What's going on? And so I started looking, and because I've come to a point in my life, in my health journey, I've come this far, I can almost really look at what symptoms and what they mean now, because I've experienced so many things that I know they're not now.
Right.
Because I've cleaned my act. I've cleaned it up.
Right.
So I don't really get
hives. So you weren't rolling around in the yard.
Come on, shut up. And then I was itchy, and I'm saying, okay, now wait a minute, my arms are itchy, and it was really in the arms. And I'm saying something's wrong, something's going on, and I'm saying, what am I doing? And so then I looked at what I was eating. What did I eat the day before? What did I eat? So I kind of just did that kind of
trying
thing.
to eliminate,
right? So then all of a sudden.
But did you check the yard for poison ivy?
No, I didn't check the yard for poison ivy.
If you were rolling around trying to get your sun and your vitamin D,
oh God help
that
us,
might have been a problem.
I just didn't do that. Okay,
all right,
so I didn't check it. Okay,
oxalates came to mind. Let's look deeper into oxalates and share a little bit about what they are, what they do, how to deal with them.
Yeah, really, yes. So I thought it was interesting. Anyway,
it should be really quite interesting because, like you said, there's not a lot that's being said about oxalates. So. Before we even start, I definitely want to say that oxalates are usually in conjunction with kidney stones or kidney disease. So you'll hear it in that context.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it than that. So we just, before you check out and say, oh, oxalates, the kidney thing, I don't have that, and check out, before you do that, it's way beyond that.
That's right, because the kidney thing comes because it's been going on for a long time.
Right.
The high oxalates, but
right.
Yeah,
and there's so much that happens before it gets to the point of kidney stones or kidney disease. So we wanted to kind of what are they, and why do I even care? Right? Because why do I care? We need to give you a reason to care, and that's us. That's what we're here for.
That's right.
So first, we said the kidney stones, and the modern research is really, it's more about what's going on with kidney stones. How does that come about, and what is the oxalate level when you end up with kidney stones or kidney disease? And so a lot of the research focuses on that. But as they start to broaden the research, they start to realize, wow, there's a lot of different effects things that are happening to the human body as a result of high oxalates. Let's start to talk more about that. And so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about what an oxalate is.
Yeah, so what is it?
So we got these plants that have oxalates.
Yeah.
And the oxalates, and it's the plants and the oxalates, the plants are using the oxalates. Oh, there's that word.
Oxalates.
You say the word, okay? There are plants that use
the oxalates.
Okay. to regulate their own internal mineral content and help defend against pests and predators. It's almost their protection.
Yes.
It's their protection that they put out there to help them live.
Yes.
Oxalate.
And to get rid of predators
That's
like
right.
us. The humans are
That's right.
We're predators.
We're humans and we're their predators,
Right.
believe
So
it or
we
not.
go and we pick the kale, we pick the spinach, we pick them, and we eat them. So
We
we're
eat their
predators.
toxins.
Exactly.
Oh,
and
God.
so, yeah, those poor plants.
Those
so
poor
what
meat.
they use for protection ends up poison for us.
That's right.
Right. So that's what oxalates are. So in the body, we've got oxalic acid, and that acid is what we get from eating these plants. There's also fruits, vegetables, grains, but the greens. So as we eat them, we get the oxalates in our bodies as we work through our digestion and all of that. So basically, we have got to look at what is happening inside the body when the oxalates get in there. So we eat the food, it gets in our intestines, it gets in our stomachs, our colon, it goes through the whole digestive tract. And what happens? The oxalates try to get into our body and be absorbed.
That's right.
But then here we have calcium, which jumps in to help.
That's right, because without the calcium, enough calcium in your body, because oxalates bind to calcium.
Right.
And if you don't have enough calcium in your body and some of those minerals, what happens is they don't, that wonderful, think about this. The plants, the oxalates are in the plants, got it, but the plants are so nutritious.
Yeah.
There's so many nutrients in the plants that we eat.
Right.
And what happens is when the plant gets into your body, like you're going to eat some spinach or whatever you're going to eat, what happens is the oxalate immediately binds to calcium.
Right.
If you don't have enough calcium so that it can allow the oxalates to give you the nutrients, because the calcium is going to protect you,
Right.
and you don't have enough,
Right. Then
you
the
got no
oxalate-
nutrients. Now think about this. You got a nutritional plant
Right.
that's good for us.
Right.
And what happens is the calcium just kills it.
Well, the oxalates, once they bind to the calcium, they excrete.
That's right.
So that's how they get out of the body.
So
They
now you
excrete
have
out
no
of the body.
nutrients now.
Right. So if you have too much of, but basically, if you have too much of anything, you're going to have this problem.
That's right.
You're going to hear this almost every show. It's like, but if you have too much, it's like even a good thing. If you have too much, it's too much. So the oxalates, they're created in the human body as a waste product. So after the processes go on, as a waste, there's oxalates. If you have too much vitamin C, you're going to have an oxalate problem. If you have not enough B6, the deficiency of
That's
B6
right.
is actually attracts oxalate. So now you have another oxalate problem. So if you don't get those oxalates excreted out of your body fast enough, they could crystallize. They can cause all sorts of health issues, whether it be fibromyalgia, autism, kidney stones, all these things, because they've been left too long and they've crystallized. So we don't want that. We want them to move through, take the nutrients we want, and just excrete what we don't want. So we're really just starting to understand this. Oxalates as an anti-nutrient, meaning takes the nutrients away.
That's right.
And we don't want that.
And so when you get your diets low in calcium, then you have to, you got high oxalates. And that's not recommended. You don't want to do that. So you, like you said, you want to be moderate. You want to make sure that you're adapting well and keeping in tune with those oxalates so that you don't have so many of them.
So the National Institute of Health, they're such a good source. And I'm going to put a snarky face on for part of this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes
they
the
say
National
silly
Institute of
things.
Health, they tell us to do stuff that's like, what? Look at the thing. What? But anyway, they definitely do that sometimes. Like Food Guide Pyramid. What?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they went ahead and they said that diets that are low in calcium but high in oxalates is not a good idea. I think we can see that because
Right.
if you only have a little bit of calcium and you have a lot of oxalates, it binds, calcium's gone, and there's still all this oxalate left. That's not what we want. But you do want to eat the foods that are high in oxalates in order to get the nutrients out of them and then excrete the rest. And that's where the balance comes in. So here's the brilliant NIH, right? Here are these scientists that are ultra brilliant. And what they come up with is a little bit of calcium and a lot of oxalates. That's a problem. Really?
However,
really, guys? I mean, is this all you're going to give us? There's so much more research to do on oxalates, and God willing, they will get that done soon. But in the meantime, we want to think about how do oxalates process in your body, and why is that a problem? So if you understand how they get through your body, it starts to make sense as to what you should or shouldn't be eating, right? So it's produced as an end product of your metabolism. So you metabolize, and as an end product is some oxalate. So it gets excreted. Urine, waste, it's gone. We don't need it. It's cool. But even if you don't eat any oxalates, say if you're fasting for 3 days, water fast, no oxalates, you're still going to produce some because your body is going to produce it as a waste from the process. So if you add a whole bunch more to that, now you're starting to get way too many, which again, the body's out of balance. So again, binding with calcium, zinc, all of these things. So what happens is your kidneys get involved.
That's right.
Kidneys are important, y'all. You need your kidneys. So you can't be over stressing them or giving them too much to do because you wear them out. Kidneys is where the oxalates get dealt with. And the kidney takes the brunt. So if you OD on oxalates, poor kidney, he feels it, and that's when we start ending up with kidney stones, because too many oxalates, they calcify inside and they turn into a kidney stone. Or you get kidney disease because the stones are in there causing all these other issues, and over time we end up with kidney failure, kidney disease.
That's right.
Right. So what do we?
Because they're unable to remove the excess oxalate by that time.
Because they're all worn out. Like, leave me alone. Good night. Poor kidney. The other thing is, there's a bacteria. There's a bacteria. You know how we talk a lot about how your gut is so important? It's so important to have a healthy gut biome. And if you don't, it's important to reset it. And we talk about fasting and different things to help you reset your gut biome. But if your gut is out of balance, whether it's pH, alkaline, whatever, then that's when you're going to have all these issues with digestion, bloating, gas, all sorts of issues, right? So think about your oxalates. We need to make sure that if you don't have the bacteria that breaks down oxalates, they're going to sit there. They're just going to sit there. And eventually they're just going to hound your poor kidney. And we don't want that. So how do you know you don't have the oxalate, the gut bacteria for oxalates? You'll know as you start getting more and more symptoms, it will tell you that. But in the meantime, some people have a really abundant amount of bacteria to deal with their oxalates, and some people don't. And that's just, it is what it is. So the studies have shown that people with low levels of oxalate bacteria, bacteria, these are the people who end up with high oxalates in their body. And the people who have digestive disorders and problems in their digestion, they end up with high oxalates in their body. So,
and one of the things, just to mention this too, Jamie, one of the things people do every day, and it's like their thing, and they need to juice. Everybody was juicing for years. Juicing. Now,
that means taking juice, fruits and vegetables, and putting it in a blender and turning it into a juice and drinking it.
And just drinking a whole glass.
Or, a tall glass too. But that was the thing. Everybody was buying juicers, remember? Buying juicing machines to help you get the best juice possible. So, what about juicing now? So what do we want to say about that?
Yeah, but juicing in general can lead to high intakes of lots of things. Also, too much glucose and insulin also. You're just putting it all in you at one time, but there's an abundance of it.
I mean, well, just think about it. If you were to eat all the vegetables individually, you wouldn't. So if I laid in front of you a pile of vegetables and a pile of fruits and said, eat all of them. 2 apples, 1 banana, 2 apples, an orange, a handful of grapes, a nectarine, half a pound of whatever, and then kale, and then eat them all, broccoli, eat it all. I'm gonna put it right here. Eat all of it. Who's gonna do that? But if I take it all and put it in a blender, you'll drink it all.
You'll drink it all. Yeah.
So if you're drinking it all, that means you're taking in not only all of that at once, all that fructose, all those nutrients all at one time, but you're also not getting all the fiber because some of it's going out in the part that didn't get juiced. So you're ending up with high glucose, you're ending up with high fructose, and you're ending up with high carb. You would have never ate all that. And so the juicing starts to have a lot of oxalates. And people who have juiced for long times with these kinds of things, they have run into oxalate overload for that reason. So you got to be careful. If it's too easy, it's probably not a good idea.
That's right.
Probably.
No.
So juicing in general can lead to high oxalates, a high intake of things that you would not sit down and eat on your own. So just think of it that way.
Moderation. Keep saying it. Moderation is the key, and that's so important. You just can't sit there and just eat all that oxalate stuff and
eating too much, eating too often, and eating for too long. Two. Moderation is the key to all of the beginning key to all of these healthy things. Moderation. Start there.
Yeah.
So, how do you know if you have too many oxalates? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm cutting in. Cut in. So you guys, we're on the 30-minute deal, right? So the 30-minute dealers, we need to tell you that when 30 minutes is up, we're going to stop, and then we're going to pick up with the next episode. Yep. So we've already been talking for 15. So we have another 14 or so minutes before, boom, the bell rings and off we go into another episode.
You hear the
Hopefully,
sound effects.
It won't be a cliffhanger. Maybe it will be a cliffhanger. Anyway, I'm being mischievous now. So back to oxalates. How many? How do we know if you have too many oxalates? What are some of the reasons? Well, you can get a urine test.
Yeah, you can get although a urine test can give you some information, but it doesn't give you the whole picture. But you can do that also.
A lot of times the testing that we get these days aren't as accurate because they're a moment in time and it doesn't give you the big picture. And that's the same with this. But that's one way, could be an oxalates in your urine. Yeah. But then also symptoms.
You gotta look at them symptoms.
I think that's probably the best way is to notice the symptoms, what's happening to you to help you identify if your oxalates are high. Yeah. So in most cases, a low oxalate diet is really not necessary. Most people don't need a low oxalate diet. You have to have kidney issues. Your doctor would have already told you something.
That's right. Yeah.
You would have had a conversation with your physician about this, and they would be saying, "Hey, we need to reduce your oxalates." Yes. But short of that, don't just look for symptoms. And if you start seeing these symptoms, then you can start zooming in to see if maybe you should think about oxalates being a problem. So it won't start from the beginning. Yeah. So if you reduce your oxalates, you need to do it slowly. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but you do need to ramp down your oxalates. You can't just cut them all out, because if you do, you'll end up with another issue, which is called oxalate dumping, which we'll talk about later. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. But that's not the first thing. I mean, there's other drugs that you get on, like medications, that they tell you specifically not to stop without a doctor's supervision. Yeah. Because if you just stop it, the body's like, whoa, and it just problems. So you have to kind of tamp it down, and that's the same with oxalates. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. What else? If you have kidney issues already, if you have gut issues, if you have kidney disease or failure, any of those things, I would like to believe you're already in touch with your doctor about that, and that they're already helping you with that. So if they're not, then that's the first place you need to start, not here listening to us.
That's right.
Start with that.
Start with the doctor. Right?
Yeah, start with the doctor. So now what are these symptoms we're talking about? Have you ever had oxalate symptoms?
Well, it's funny you said that, but like I said, the rash and the hives, And when I went into the fact that it might be oxalates,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with actually saying, you know what, it might be oxalates. It's not a hurtful thing.
Right.
It's not going to hurt you to
go check it
to
out.
go and
Right.
check it out with yourself. And
Right.
so immediately I just went, well, not immediately, because I wanted to kind of look at what was going on. And so it was what got me, the symptoms was the itchy. It was that itchy, dry, that
Skin.
Yeah. But you know what I noticed too? My eyes.
Yeah.
I was putting the ion in my eyes. That's another story. But
Uh-oh.
anyway,
Hold on.
I was putting,
You okay with that?
yeah, I was putting stuff in my eyes to clear out my eyes because I noticed they were a little funny, itchy, and whatever.
But you know what too is it's pollen season. So again,
Well,
it's
that's
one
what
of
I
those
thought
things-
of.
Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, is this hitting me in my
Maybe it's
skin, the
that,
pollen?
yeah.
But then I thought, well, you know what, I'm kind of beyond that kind of thing now. It's been years that I've not dealt with pollen too much, so maybe
Right.
it's not that. Would it go backwards? No. So I went forward thinking oxalates. So I said, okay, let me check out and see if this is it, because I felt like I was dumping. I really started feeling that.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, let me cut out some of this oxalate tomorrow. I'll only
Check it. Yeah.
a couple of servings, and anyway, that's how I started. But I noticed things unusual
Yeah.
for me.
It's interesting because a lot of symptoms from things are similar. So some of the oxalate symptoms are, headache, fever, chills.
Yeah. Body aches, body
yeah.
pains.
Yes, for sure.
Oh my
Joint
gosh.
muscle pain. Interestingly enough, tooth sensitivity.
Oh yeah.
That's another one that's
Yeah.
kind of a strange symptom. Like, why do my teeth feel kind of touchy? What's up with that? You know. Also, joint and back pain, stomach pain, just pains that are kind of generalized throughout your body. That can be an issue. Nausea.
Some
what else?
anxiety, kind of moody, kind of
Yeah.
all
Irritable.
these things that you would think
For lots of
would
stuff.
relate for everything,
Right.
you know.
Except one of the keys too is urine. If you have urine issues,
Oh yeah, that's
any of these things,
believe it,
whether
yeah.
it be a UTI or anything like burning, itching,
Whatever, yeah.
or you just want to all the time. Like, why do I have to go to the bathroom? Why am I peeing all the time?
Or
What's going on?
Or what about you don't pee enough?
Yeah,
What's
but
going
think
on
about it.
there?
If your body's trying to excrete, it's going to try to push it out. It doesn't want the oxalates.
That's
it's
right.
trying to push
Push it out.
And
That's
if you're
right.
not drinking enough, now it's struggling. It's like, how am I going to get rid of this stuff, right? So any of these kinds of issues around urine or urinary tract and all of that, that's the key, that there's some kidney thing, some possibly oxalate thing going on. So those are some of the really obvious symptoms. But some of these symptoms really are the same. I can speak about a lot of things
Many
that have
conditions.
these symptoms. Lots and lots of
Yes.
conditions. So when this is happening, your body is trying to tell you something.
That's right.
Listen to me. I'm trying to tell you something.
Take care of
Wake
me,
up.
me.
Yeah, listen. And in the end, you won't need to worry about
That's
symptoms
right. Yeah.
if you worry about your body. So if you take care of your body the way it's supposed to be taken care of, you won't have to worry as much about what this symptom is or isn't. You'll be more concerned about how do I get my body healthy,
That's right.
regardless of what it was, right? So focus on what your body needs, and you'll have to deal less with symptoms
That's right.
at the end of the day.
That's right.
But symptoms are trying to tell you something's going on. And for me, honestly, I don't always need to know. I don't always need to know. I wonder what's wrong with me exactly. I have nausea. I wonder what's wrong. I don't necessarily need you to give me a diagnosis
Right.
for me to deal with my nausea. I can still deal with nausea, without
yeah.
knowing exactly why it's there.
Right.
Right? Ultimately, yeah, if it keeps repeating, I'm going to
Yeah.
need to know what's going on. But I think we get too caught up with wanting to know everything.
Yeah.
You have to understand, guys, your body is very intricate. It's very
That's right.
delicate. The balance is very detailed.
Yeah.
And when one thing's off, it can trigger all these funny things going on. And you honestly won't know where it started. You won't. You go to the doctor, they're like, oh, all your numbers are fine. You seem to be fine. I don't feel fine.
So I'm not.
Why are you saying that? Because they don't know. You know why?
That's right.
Because it's started with a headache,
Yeah.
but because you let the headache go too long, what it actually was is you don't sleep enough. Right? So you
That's
don't get
right.
enough sleep. Ever. you live on 5 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, night after night after night, right?
Right.
You're not thinking about anything. You're getting headaches. Now you're getting migraines. You're at work. Now you're feeling nauseous. Now you're feeling irritable. Now you're feeling, you have all these symptoms and you're like, what's going on? And you're looking for all these major, amazing, catastrophic things. But nobody can go back far enough to go, dude, you need to sleep.
Yeah.
Because even if you sleep tonight, it's not going to fix that.
No.
You need to consistently sleep for a week, and all of a sudden the symptoms just disappear.
Yeah.
And you have you don't get it. Like, what happened? I feel better. I don't know why. And at the end of the day, you never realized it was that you don't sleep enough.
It's because you were building the abuse in your body.
Yes.
You were building it.
Yes.
You
And
know?
then it goes
and
on
now you
so
got a
long.
cluster of symptoms now.
That's right. And then it goes on so long, you still don't get to sleep. Guess what happens? Now you end up with a whole nother set of issues from not sleeping.
Yeah.
Now you have a whole nother set. The healing's not going on. Now you got inflammation. It's like, what's happening? And if you reeled it all the way back, it was all because you don't sleep. And you go to the doctor, they're not going to be able to unravel all that. That's a lot. Take care of your body daily. And a lot of this stuff will just poof on its own. It will just disappear. I mean, that's just period.
That's it. Just take care of me.
Take care of you, for real. So, but back to
For real.
oxalates. So, you can actually let the oxalates get so high
Yeah.
for so long that they crystallize. So that means they're still in your body, right? So if you're excreting oxalates daily and pushing them out, they can't crystallize. They're not here long enough. But if you don't, they start to crystallize. You could end up with them in your thyroid, in your ears.
Yes.
You can end up with hearing loss. I mean, all these weird things. But again, it's because you allow a condition to go on and on and on.
You can even see crystals coming out of your skin. You know, really, I don't know if you realize what the crystals look like or what they like. Just visualize broken glass that you broke, crystal.
Yeah, like little
And you,
pieces. Yeah.
the little slivers, that's what that
You could
is.
think of a movie like with Olaf.
Oh, here
Let
we
it
go.
go.
I can't
Let
do
it
this.
go. Everybody knows Frozen. Come on. Think of all the little, remember the Ice Princess and all the little
Oh, Jamie. you're
crystals.
so
Who wants
dramatic.
that on them? Who wants that? Guys, don't eat too many oxalates. You might end up singing Let It Go. Just kidding.
She probably knows the movie
I-
word
I-
for word.
I actually don't. This is not
Oh,
anything
don't
like
give
Lord
me
of the
that,
Rings
please.
at all.
You
We're
and
not
the
gonna
Lord
do
of the
this.
Rings. I said this in one of the podcasts. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, she's trying to show me the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
We're
but you-
sitting there. She puts the movie on, and this
already
is no
said this, so
exaggeration.
stop. You are
Well, I just got to
exaggerating.
say it again. There's no exaggeration. I'm not exaggerating. This child sat next to me. I could have shut the sound off. I didn't even need to hear anything they said because she said word for word every single sentence they said.
Stupid hobbits.
And now I'm listening to them and her. And I'm saying, please. Oh my God, are we talking word for word? I'm not exaggerating.
So it is a good movie, though.
Word
you have
for
to admit.
word.
But sidebar. Okay, we're gonna get off Lord of the Rings because I could just go on and on.
But yeah, that's the Frozen brought me down.
Yeah,
So don't
okay.
bring up nothing like that.
All right, so we don't want to OD on the oxalates or on the Lord of the Rings. How about if
Okay.
we make a okay?
That's
We'll
fine.
make a deal about that. So that is the deal with oxalates, and that is the deal with doing letting it go on too long.
Amen.
So we are going to talk a little bit more in the next episode. We'll be
Yes.
talking about what foods are high or low in oxalates. We'll be talking about some of the things that happen to your body, the damage that can happen from too much
Too much
oxalates for
oxalates,
too
yeah.
long. And we'll get into a little bit about vegetarianism and
Oh,
veganism.
interesting.
And
yeah.
how does that fit in with oxalates? So there's quite a bit more to say on the oxalates, to
Oh
be
yeah,
honest.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's a great a subject. It just came up. It was like, wow, we need to know about this because they don't do all that studying.
It's true.
But they're starting to now get a little bit better.
Yeah, there's a lot more research going on, and it will go on and on for the next several
Right.
years to be sure.
Yeah.
So, any way you look at it, we're going to get back into some more oxalates. Hopefully, we'll see you the next time around.
Hey.
Please hit the like button, subscribe, And make sure you leave a comment below if there's something you want to say about oxalates, if you have questions, or even if you've experienced some things with oxalates.